as far as power is concerned. Power corrupts. It corrupts potentially even the noblest soul. It is so easy to get so blinded by your own titles and fame and power that sometimes you fail to see the bigger picture, that you fail to understand that what you may be doing may ultimately destroy you or your people. One thing I can safely say about these people is that they will be deposed at some point. For some of us, that'll happen sooner than others. But as far as I'm concerned, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab another bar of chocolate and fucking roll on. That's what I'm going to do. Good evening. I hope everyone's doing well here today. I see a whole bunch of people here. Rhiannon, Vanda, Rosemary, Christine, and Gold Mario. Yes, I'm on the floor. Both of me. Right. Where do I begin with this one? I wonder. I guess the most obvious point is my appearance on the Paul Thorp show. So, no matter how short this time was, it was enjoyable nonetheless. I wish I could have gotten more in, but the only thing I could manage to get in, quite frankly, was about the grooming gangs and about the 52 Labour MPs. So yeah, it was all I was able to get in. I would have liked to challenge Paul Thorp on basically what's going on as far as whether or not we can achieve peace. Bear with me a second. Sorry, something's stuck. But anyway, I'm doing all right, Antella. Thank you for asking. And hello, everyone who's come in, as I said before. But at least I was able to get my piece on there. Mention the 52 MPs, 53 technically if we count Ivor Kaplan, though Ivor Kaplan is still allegedly, because we don't know whether or not it's actually true, or whether or not he was going to end up meeting this underage boy. But I digress. It was enjoyable, and it was good to hear Paul Thorp and some of his opinions on it. And he basically said near the end that we can mention all this stuff, but unfortunately, the cold, bitter truth, as he quite rightly pointed out, is that this country has a lot of people who are basically apathetic. People who are too set in their ways and basically believe that there's nothing we can do, so we may as well have just accept it and move on, quite frankly. Well, I don't know about you, but as long as I've got a hole in my arse, and last time I checked, I'm pretty sure I have one, I am going to keep fighting. You know why? Because we need to make sure we get our country back from the nonce party. I mean the Labour Party. Or maybe I was right first time. Because at the end of the day, these people are not fit for purpose anymore. These people have already shown how corrupt they are, how crooked they are, and how low they will stoop. They are lower than a snake's belly, quite frankly. We must keep fighting. As I've said before, though, I think if things don't get resolved in the next 2 or so months, I think things are going to get nasty. I don't want it. I won't advocate for it. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of people are not going to like it when they find out that their children are being violated to this degree. And I see you on the spectrum. I hope you're doing all right. So, as far as Paul Thorp's concerned, I do kind of wish I got a bit more in, but he is completely correct as far as the apathy is concerned. To some extent, Rosemary brings up a valid point. Some of these people are just pathetic because they can't be fucked to do it. But it's like when you go to vote in the general election. If you don't actually cast your vote, you don't really have a say or have the right to say anything about, oh, why did you lot vote Labour? Why did you lot vote Conservative? You know, so at the end of the day, as much as we can sometimes point the finger at each other and say, he said, she said, and that guy said, and she said that, we have to make sure that we are taking actions ourselves. Put our money where our mouth is, quite frankly. No, I'm not going to get my wallet out of my coat and put it in my mouth. Anyway, we need to be able to say that we've taken our actions. Why do you think back in the July general election, or I think there was even another one I went to as well, for all I know, but I basically went up and basically showcased, I'm about to go into the polling station, I'm about to put my vote in. Putting my money where my mouth is. Putting in the vote. And it is a shame that I do feel like reform are slipping. Speaking of reform, there is something else I need to talk about as far as reform is concerned. And quite frankly, it is something that some of you may know about already. But it is something that, again, it's one of those things I'm like, are you fucking serious? Because what's happened? Charlie Mullins has now joined the Reform Party. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, come again? So I will come again and say it again. Charlie Mullins, aka Pound Shop Rod Stewart, the guy who was advocating for no jab, no job as far as COVID is concerned, apparently he's joined the Reform Party. He's saying that now Nigel Farage is the one who's going to basically lead us down the golden path. Please, no violence. Well, I don't want violence. That's the thing, Brunt. That's the thing. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, we should all go out and fucking raid all the shops and overturn cars and fucking go and rob Greggs of their sausage rolls. I'm more of a chicken bake person myself, but I digress. I'm not saying here we should do that shit. I'm the last person who thinks that we need to go out, commit a violent revolution and overthrow the government. I'm the last person to think that. But there will be people who are basically not as patient. They don't have the patience to effectively tough this one out. But as far as Charlie Mullins is concerned, why the fuck is he even being remotely considered for Reform Party? And it's like my saying, I keep saying when I see people make the absolute dumbest decisions, I want to know what drugs Farage has been smoking right now. I didn't know he was suffering from depression, quite frankly, because whatever drugs he's fucking doing, I want some. I want to be as high as a kite like he is, because clearly that's what he is if he wants to bring Charlie Mullins into the fucking party. Like, what the hell was he thinking? I'd like to know what the fuck was he thinking? First he slanders us, first he slanders Tommy Robinson, then Tice calls us that lot, then Nigel puts another libelous accusation of being a woman beater on Tommy, and now he brings Charlie Mullins into the fucking party. Like, what? I don't know if he's donated. I can't really say that 100% for sure. But I do know that he has categorically joined the Reform Party, and that in and of itself is worrying. Just like it's worrying how I mentioned in the last stream that Andrew Tate basically wants to try and become the British Prime Minister here. And that in and of itself scares me because he's a Muslim convert. That in and of itself scares me. Oh, sure, he's able to bring the smack down as far as Piers Morgan is concerned, and that's something else I want to talk about. But the way I look at it, I've said it in the last stream, I'll say it here again. He's as fitting for the role of Prime Minister as I am fit to be a ballerina. There is no way that I would want Andrew Tate as our Prime Minister. Likewise, there is no shot that Farage can lead the Reform Party anymore. It's that simple. I've already said I'm basically going to put my weight behind UKIP unless Reform gets rid of Richard Tice, Lee Anderson, Anne Widdecombe, and Nigel Farage, ideally Zia Youssef as well, from the Reform Party. The way I look at it, these people who are willing to slander us, I could not, in good faith, put another vote forward for Reform while those slanderous bastards are still in the party. I would still have too much ill will against them, quite frankly. Now, if it was just a matter of, oh, he's a blithering idiot and what have you, and he sometimes makes stupid decisions, I think we can all agree that's one thing. But when somebody goes out of their way to libelously slander Tommy Robinson as something he isn't, knowing it's not true, that I have huge beef with. That's the way I look at it. I cannot support Nigel Farage. If Rupert Lowe takes over as party leader or Ben Habib takes over as party leader and then those four are gone, maybe I'll consider voting Reform again. And then at the next election, I'll make sure to go for UKIP because I don't think Reform are the perfect answer, quite frankly. You have to do certain things. Exactly. You have to show that you have the best of British interests for this country. And this really, it really had a stroke. Fuck. I said I wasn't going to have another stroke. I'm going to do everything I can to avoid it. But I personally think that Reform aren't the answer unless they get rid of them. The way I look at it, Nigel Farage needs to understand he has taken a massive L as it is. He's taking even more L's with even more of these stupid decisions. The fact he wants to open up our borders to fucking Shamima Begum. He wants to invite back a terrorist, basically. Or at bare minimum, even if we say she isn't a terrorist, at bare minimum, Shamima Begum is at least a terrorist sympathizer. Hell, as I said, she was even holding a bloody AK-47 at some of these women who weren't dressing properly. So it stands to reason why I think we shouldn't let her back in. Now, of course, if the chief of staff of Trump's team also thinks that we should take him in, how about he takes him in? Oh, that's right, it would be his problem then, not ours, quite frankly. That's the thing. They all are willing to say all this slanderous shit, but other than that, nothing. As far as Tommy Robinson is concerned, I haven't really heard anything yet as far as any update on his changes. I know he responded to Farage in the past and said that basically Farage, he's very disappointed in him. He needs to stop attacking him. He doesn't have to invite Tommy into the party and all that shit. But I haven't heard anything new as far as that's concerned. I don't have somebody whispering in my ear, even though I look like two people. I could just do mitosis. Anyway, I don't have somebody sitting here whispering in my ear saying what's happening to Tommy Robinson. I only go off of what information is present in front of me at the time. But I do hope Tommy Robinson is well. That'll be my screen going off. Because I was doing a little bit of Balatro again. I was playing that little poker game where I try to make hands and all that and get a high score. But I digress. I treated you so respectful when you got on stage. Bet that was a special day for you. Yeah, it was, 100%. And speaking of that, the one thing about Paul Thorp as well, that video went out of Viewers Have Your Say. One of these people even recognized me, and they recognized me saying that I could no longer support Tommy Robinson back when I was still on my first channel. And I did that impulsively, quite frankly, and I made a mistake on that day. I really did, because I took Tommy Robinson's message that he did when he was basically lashing out at people who were, I guess they had the wrong idea more than anything. And I guess to some extent I took it too personally, and I took it the wrong way, and I ended up fucking going off on one. I could admit I was wrong. 100%. I did fuck up. 100%. And as Martin says, he shouldn't even be in prison. Because if everything that was said in the video was true through covert recordings, okay, you could argue the toss that the covert recordings was below the belt. You could argue that maybe he shouldn't have done that. Devil's advocate here, by the way. But the thing is, and as he's rightly said, if you go up to these people and they've got these NDAs on them, they're not allowed to talk about them, and Tommy Robinson goes up to them with a camera, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go back into hiding. Just like that. And then any chance he's got of getting evidence goes out the window. Oh, I'm pretty sure he got the truth out there. 100%. Like when he put out Silenced, the way I look at it, I'm getting a lot of messages actually from someone. I might actually have to check that out because it is from Patriotic Christian. Speaking of which, I think there may be one more delay. It might be being delayed till tomorrow. I just need to check that, so bear with me. But effectively, Tommy has been telling the truth about the grooming gangs, about the government, and our establishment isn't happy with that. Episode 6 will be shown when Tommy's released. Oh, is this the Hour of Britain? Well, we'll have a very good watch of that, won't we? But frankly, I think Nigel has made a grave mistake. I think he has made a very, very grave mistake, quite frankly. And he's going to pay the price for it sooner or later. Whether he pays for it in 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years, he will pay for it. Mark my words. When the time comes, when Nigel Farage has to face the music, it's not going to be an orchestra for him. It's going to be a small little violin. Basically. It'll all go tits up for him. He has made a terrible mistake alienating us because basically, how many of us voted when we were up down there? At least 75,000 people turned up, and I'm lowballing it. Probably really fucking hard, quite frankly. If anything, it's probably more like we were over 100,000 strong. And that's what Tommy can do. He can rally the numbers. Can you see any of the left wing do that? Yeah, like fuck, can you? But as far as Charlie Mullins is concerned, I am, well, what else is there to say, to be honest? Pound Shop Rod Stewart, who basically advocated for locking us down, encouraged no jab, no job, alongside all the other lefty fucking celebrities who were going out of their way to say, I don't want to sit next to someone who hasn't had the vaccine. Part of the people pushing the agenda. And now he's part of Reform. I can't say, but of course the mainstream media won't tell you this because they have actually talked about it, quite frankly. So I can't do it with this one. But I'll find a place where I can use that catchphrase. Mark my words. Mark my bloody words. But in all seriousness, it is going to be UKIP for me, unless those demands are met. And I hope Nick Tenconi is getting on well. Tommy Robinson, I hope, is getting on well as well. Though, quite frankly, the other thing we need to do, make sure you sign the petition as well. I actually need to check that because I need to actually see how many signatures there are. Probably won't be many, but I'll be goddamned if I give up on that shit. Like, we need to get that petition of getting Keir the traitor Starmer arrested because he does deserve to be arrested. He does deserve to effectively pay for what he's done. He does not deserve to get away with this. All of the traitor party, all of the nonce party, those who were fucking goddamn it, fuck. Stroke number one. All the people complicit in the grooming gang scandals, they fuck. They need they need to pay the price. I tried not to have a stroke. I'm sorry. No, don't call. Fucking hell. Oh god, there's no hope for me, is there? There is no hope. Calling out. Oh dear. But no, they need to pay for what they've done. All of them. After they're kicked out of power, the entire fucking Labour Party needs to be disbanded. Entirely. 77 account. Fair enough. NHS will look after you. I'm sure they will. If I'm not waiting for 20 fucking years, I'm already waiting for these bloody teeth to be sorted out. Stroke talk. Fuck off. Oh dear. But here we are, we're all having a laugh, because we gotta laugh, otherwise we cry, as we said, and then we die, and then we're all sad again. But I digress. The way I see it, nothing good can come of those things that I've mentioned as well, but it is what it is. As far as the 1st of February, I still have had plans to go down there. I still have plans to get up to London. It's coincidence as well that I've had a few of my friends try to message me, is everyone free for Dungeons & Dragons on the 1st of February? I was like, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to a protest. I can't help you. I really can't. I really can't help you with that shit as much as I would love to. Man alive. Oh, dear. I'm getting old. That's what it is. I'm not going to say it's because I'm fat, because I don't want to take responsibility. No, I want to sit here and be a burglar again. Fuck it. Sue me. I want to sit here and look like this again. Why? Because I fucking can, quite frankly. But as long as everything goes well, I plan to be up there, minus this, of course. I'm not going down to the protest with this on, because that would defeat the whole purpose of the protest. Because it would mean, oh, well, if I've got a mask, the infiltrators, and it depends how you spell infiltrators, but I don't want to give them the opportunity. I don't, look, no. I'm not trying to steal people's money. I'm doing this off my own back. I don't need people's money to do these videos, quite frankly. There's no way in hell that I'm going to do that shit. No way. Anyway. God, is there anything else I need to talk about? Doesn't feel like there is, does there? Although, obviously, I hope this public inquiry goes ahead as far as to behave, traitor Starmer. But I do think that we need to make all those people pay. We need a public inquiry. We need to expose these people. And we need to make sure that they're effectively made to pay the price. I haven't talked about Elon yet. I probably should have spoken about that, because a lot of media and newspapers are basically coming out. I might even have my newspapers still here. I might have to trottle off for a moment just to see if I can find the fucking newspaper. But I did bring a newspaper. Basically, all the mainstream media is going out of their way saying, oh, should Elon Musk interfere with our politics? And why is Elon Musk telling us what we should do and all that shit? And some of these people, I actually point out, this is an important one. They were saying that Elon Musk apparently interfered with the election in order to try and stop Keir the traitor Starmer from being elected. Well, it didn't do a load of good, did it, if we play devil's advocate here? Because obviously Keir the traitor Starmer and non-sympathiser is still in power, quite frankly. So I'd say Elon Musk has had about as much success of that as I have had in losing weight. But that's just all the usual, really, from the media. They can't really come up with anything factual, so they project all their problems. They want to talk about Elon Musk basically went and undermined the campaign, which he bloody didn't, yet Labour were willing to send 100 of their own staff to go and help Kamala fake as Hollywood teeth Harris. Would you call that undermining the campaign? Would you call that electoral interference? Would you call that trying to undermine Trump's campaign? If we want to go down that fucking path. But that's the thing. Their plans have more holes than Swiss cheese. And frankly, I think even then, the Swiss cheese would still kick these traitors' asses, or whatever. They don't understand that Elon is doing what he's doing because he understands the problems going on in Britain. He understands what we're going through right now. Why else do you think he's calling out the grooming gangs? Why else do you think he's coming out in support of Tommy Robinson? Why else do you think that now it's been confirmed that Elon Musk is willing to donate to pay for Tommy Robinson's legal fees so he can go into a courtroom with a fully loaded gun, quite frankly? Disclaimer here, there is going to be an airsoft gun coming on, and I will just prove a point. Unfortunately, I broke the damn thing. The little gas bit in the magazine, unfortunately, is broken. So when I try to put one of those CO2 canisters in the magazine, the gas just goes, it just fucking blows everywhere. So, yeah. But basically what it is rather than go in with a knife to a gunfight, Elon Musk is going to effectively make sure he's always fully loaded. He is going to make sure that Tommy Robinson will be able to take on the establishment face to face. A little bit of disclaimer as well as far as this is concerned. Two-tone guns do not need a UCARA license, which is basically a license that if anything looks like an imitation firearm, these things basically need to have a license if it looks like a real firearm. If it's got two colors, like it's got the blue and the silver here, then you don't need a license. So they can't actually send the boys round for me. And as said, this thing basically doesn't work. There isn't even a gas thing in there. I took it out. I was trying to use it, but unfortunately this top bit here on the mag, I don't know if you can see it on there, that little black hole there, that's where all the gas is supposed to be propelled out of. Effectively, that's where it creates all the recoil, and instead of going, it goes like that, like a real gun, quite frankly. But the bottom line, as far as Elon Musk is concerned, is they're just desperate to make up lies. They're desperate to say anything they can to make sure that Elon Musk is taken as someone who isn't credible. But the only people who are going to believe that shit are the NPCs who have gramophone minds and are triggered by phrase slavery, as akin to what I've been reading in the manifesto book. And when I say phrase slavery, I'll give you another example. When the mainstream media or Keir the Traitor Starmer refers to the far right, the term far right is the phrase slave phrase, basically, which then triggers those people who bleat out, like in Animal Farm, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. This basically triggers a response from lefties and NPCs saying, oh, they're far right. That's basically what I mean when I say they are NPCs with phrase slavery and gramophone mines, quite frankly. Keir the traitor Starmer, though, can't keep blaming Tories or this far right, which I have yet to see them, other than looking far right and seeing that I've got bottles in the kitchen. I see that far right, because that's very far right from where I have to walk. Do you know how much hard work it is to get out my fucking chair and get into the kitchen? I'm like, So, yeah, lots of hard work. But bear in mind as well, as far as Charlie Mullins is concerned, he was an anti-Brexit person. Why would Nigel Farage align himself with one of the very top people who was calling for us to remain in the EU and was pushing the COVID vaccine narrative? Begs the question, doesn't it? What else is there to say? But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks. Because say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. We are not far right. We're right so far. It is not far right for us to basically want the best for our kids. It is not far right to want to put national security and your own people first. It is not far right to hold our traitorous establishment and our police to account for covering up the grooming gangs. Do you know what that is? That's people calling out the establishment, demanding they take responsibility and do their job to protect the British people. But as we know, as we all know, Keir the traitor Starmer has already showed us where his allegiance lies. And it's not just to Davos and the WEF or the wankers and egotistical bastards forum, the way I look at it. The way I slice it, he's aligned himself with Islam, he's aligned himself with the Muslim community, and he even said in one of the very first speeches, and I will keep drilling this in, I'm going to be that annoying little woodpecker, drilling into people's heads, quite frankly, that he has said repeatedly, he will do everything he can to protect the Muslim community. He has to go. The whole of Labour must be disbanded, eradicated, I would dare say, but only metaphorically, not actually eradicate the people. Eradicate their positions, but do not eradicate the people. We have to be better than them. And as far as what you've mentioned, CX, is concerned, no. I have not seen this. But as far as Keir the traitor Starmer is concerned and his nonce party, they have no place left in our politics. They have no place left in the real world. And the way I see it, we need to get this solved in the next few months. Because I am worried that when the NPCs finally get woken up by what's been going on with their kids, it's going to hit the fan. It will erupt, just like that. And then they will wish they'd taken our request seriously. They will wish that they'd taken our offer of peace. An NPC, basically, it's a term used in gaming. It's a bit of a gamer term where you're talking about a non-player character. So if I say NPC and then I say this person is a PC is a playable character. And we are all playable characters here. We are our own characters. I'm too, in fact. But no, we are our own characters. We will make a difference in the world. These NPCs won't. These NPCs will make as much difference as Me getting up and down on my bloody chair will. The only thing I'll do is I will cause this chair to eventually break under the size of both of me, quite frankly. But I dare the establishment... Oh, Piers Morgan. Almost forgot about him. Almost. That little bastard. The one who says that he's taken up Paul Thorpe's message to say, all right, what cell is Tommy Robinson in? Because he wants to do an interview with him. You're 4 if you include the 2 strokes. The 2 that just had strokes. Oh, Christ. Also, bear with me. Oh. There is a really obnoxious piece of fucking whatever it is in between my teeth, and I can't get it out, quite frankly. It is really fucking annoying. But I don't trust Piers Morgan. I really don't. Oh. Fucking infuriating. Anyway, I don't trust that man. That man, he is about as worthy of being a news presenter as I have being a fitness instructor. He is a man who has one thing on his mind: career. He wants to boost his ego and his career through interviews. But in a lot of cases, a lot of people who have a lot more intelligence than Piers Morgan, which, I'll be truthful here, isn't very fucking hard, because, frankly, he's an idiot. They all slapped him down real quick. Hell, even Andrew Tate has slapped him down. The way I look at it, if Piers Morgan thinks he's going to have another gotcha moment with Tommy Robinson, he's got another thing coming. Like, he took on Tommy Robinson before he was even at his absolute prime, and he was getting his ass handed to him, because all he was doing was just shouting over Tommy Robinson. What do you think is going to happen here? I personally think he's going to have Tommy Robinson on, if he even does it at all. And he's just going to do the same shit over and over again. He will shout over him, cut him off, try to not let him have a chance to speak. You know why? Because he actually speaks the truth, Tommy Robinson, and he would wipe the floor with Piers Morgan in 5 seconds flat. I might even have a fucking what is it? Stopwatch, that's it. Just to time that shit. Was already... Oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember seeing something about, I'll interview him when he comes out. I do recall that, actually. Thank you for reminding me, Rosemary. But the bottom line is, he won't dare. He won't dare try to give Tommy Robinson a fair interview. If you think he's going to do that, you've got another thing coming. You'll be in for a bitter shock. Piers Morgan will do everything he can to slander the man, not give him a chance to speak, and do everything he can to please his left-wing masters to get his career even higher. He is part of the oligarchy. He is part of the mainstream. Therefore, it stands to reason that I wouldn't give this guy the time of day, let alone a fucking interview. And I think, with that, that's all I've got for you. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. And we will perhaps do this again at some other point. I will say, though, if you've watched some of my other videos in the past, there will be a link to the petition in the description of those videos. Make sure you sign the petition if you haven't already. We must sign that petition. Make sure that Keir the traitor Starmer is made to pay for his breach of human rights, fraud, and funding terrorism. We must do that, because every day that Tommy Robinson is in solitary confinement for that amount of time, it is torture. Breach of Article 3 of the Human Rights Act. It is against the law to deny this man the nutrition he needs by making sure he only has cans of tuna. They must be made to pay for that. All of them. That's the way I look at it. But I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you one last time for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now. No, not sacked. Arrested.